Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. On today's video, I'm going to be smoking up a pork brisket for the very first time, and I'm also going to be smoking it in a brand new smoker. Stay tuned. All right, so before I get started on this pork brisket video, I do want to show you my brand new knife roll. A lot of you guys have asked where I store my knives. Right now, I have them in all of these boxes right here. So I've got this new knife roll from Dalstrong, and I've always wanted one of these, and it's definitely going to cut down on the amount of storage space. So this is the outside of it. It's got a spot for business cards. You can put some pens or markers and stuff in here. Let me open it up so you guys can see how I store my knives in here. This is brand new Brazilian leather, and it is really nice. Check this out. So here are my knives right here. For this cook, I'm going to be using my boning knife and also my chef's knife. But look at all these pockets you have to store your knives. It is well protected. So you have this leather piece right here. I just put these pins on here that you get when you order a Dalstrong knife. So it's well protected. Also has a really nice pocket right here. So you can store maybe some sharpening stones and stuff in here. Super heavy duty zipper. So everything snaps together with these little snaps right here. Now on the outside pockets, I do have my 12-inch slicer and also my carving knife. Now you can probably fit a 14-inch carving knife in this area. So it's really nice to store your knives as an option. Again, this is 100% Brazilian leather from Dalstrong. So let's roll it back up and get to this cook. All right, let's get started on this pork brisket. This pork brisket was supplied by Porter Road. Make sure you guys check them out inside the links below. Now, Porter Road is a whole animal butchery shop. So there you can find these offcuts like the pork brisket, maybe some oxtails, some beef cheeks, etc. Check them out inside the links below and get yourself a nice discount on your purchases. So I'm just gonna take this out of the bag. All right, so this pork brisket is just over 2 pounds. And here's the flat of the brisket right here. And you have some of that point on this side right here. Now, if we turn it around, again, you can see the flat here on the bottom. Let me turn around. So here's the flat right here, and then you have your point on this side right here, just like a brisket. Really interesting to see. So as far as trimming, they do a pretty nice job of trimming it, but it does have a few things that I want to take off. Just these pieces that are hanging up a little high. Just take that off. Some of these little pieces hanging out right here. I'm going to take this piece off as well. All right, that looks good right there. Now, I don't want to trim a whole lot of this fat because this is pretty lean as it is right here. In fact, I'm just going to leave it alone right there. That looks good to me. Now, since this is a pork brisket, I want to treat it as if it was a beef brisket as far as seasoning. So I'm going to use a little bit of mustard just as a binder. Very little. You don't want it to cake on there, okay? So just put very little of this mustard. Get the flat and the point. All right, so that looks good right there. Now, as far as the seasoning, I'm just using my homemade SPG. Keep it Texas style. I will leave the recipe inside the description box if you guys are interested. Now, my SPG does have salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of cumin, and also a little bit of paprika, which is going to give us some really nice color on this pork brisket. Get your edges, flip it around. All right, I've got my smoker running at 250 degrees. We'll see you guys outside. All right, so here's my brand new smoker from Z-Grills. Now, this model is the 700D4E smoker. Now, this one does have the PID controller, so your temperature control is definitely gonna be spot on. Now, I put this thing together, it went together really easy. Everything fits together, the lid closes nice, the shelves on the bottom, the lid on the hopper, everything works perfect. So the only thing that I wish this smoker came with is a front shelf, but you know what? I do have my daughter's Harry Potter wand, and she says it's magical, so I'm gonna put it to the test. Let's see. Wingardium Leviosa, Hocus Pocus, give me a shelfus. Bam, and just like that, we have ourselves a front shelf. I guess there is something magical about this wand. My daughter's been right all this time. So if you guys have this smoker, you can order the front shelf for it and also the front cover that fits over that shelf. Let's go grab that pork brisket. All right, let's get this pork brisket on. I'm using some Jealous Devil pellets. And again, this is my brand new Z-Grill smoker. And Z-Grills has been making smokers for over 30 years for some top brands like Traeger and even Grilla Grills. So I'm going to be placing the brisket right there, right in the middle, the point towards that firebox, which is on this side over here. The exhaust is on my right. All right, so there's our pork brisket right there. You can see the point right here in the flat, and I do have the fat cap on the bottom because the heat source on this Z-Grills is coming from the bottom. So we'll check back in about an hour and a half and see where we're at as far as temperature and color. All right, so it's been 2 hours since we put our pork brisket on. Look at that color. Now I have been spritzing with apple cider vinegar and water, mix it 50-50, a couple of times here the last 30 minutes or so. Let's get internal temperature right here. We're sitting at 157 degrees. You know, I'm really liking that bark, and we're already at 160 degrees. So technically this is ready, but I want to get some nice bark on there and get it a little bit more tender. So I'm just going to spritz one more time. So I'm going to go ahead and put the pork brisket inside a piece of foil. Look at that bottom, really nice bark. Okay. Going to create a little boat here for the pork brisket. Just like that. Now I do have some beef tallow here. Just going to sprinkle a little bit on the top just to keep it nice and moist and add some flavor. Just sprinkle it on. All right, that's looking really good. I'm going to give this probably another hour. We'll come back and check the internal temperature. We'll see if it's nice and tender. Stay tuned. All right, so the pork brisket has been on for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I'm really liking that color. I believe we are really close. So right now we're sitting right at 198, 199 degrees. Ooh, man, that's really nice and tender. The flat is sitting at 194 degrees. You know, it's pretty tender right now, but I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. Then I'm gonna pull it off, let it rest on my counter for about 30 minutes. Stay tuned. All right, so the pork brisket is ready, and the total cook time was right at 3 hours, and it has been resting for 30 minutes. Let's take a look at this and see how we did. Look at this little guy right here. Does that look delicious or what? Got a really nice bark. I'm really happy with that Z-Grills and the bark production. All right, let's slice into our pork brisket. I'm gonna slice it right here, right next to the flat and the point. And man, that bark is nice and crunchy. Just what I like to see. Ooh, baby. Extremely tender. Oh yes. We got some of that flat and the point on there. Hopefully you guys can make out that smoke ring. And look at the juices coming out of this. Hope you guys can see that. I'm barely squeezing it, okay? Still really nice and warm. Let's turn our point and get some slices just the way we would on a brisket. Extremely tender and juicy, and it smells so darn good. Look at that. So good. All right, let's take some slices off of our flat right here. Look at how juicy this thing is. And I am really liking that smoke ring on this pork brisket. Look at that. Tears apart really nicely. Let's give it a taste. All right, let's give this pork brisket a try and see how we did. Here we go. All right, so this pork brisket is so darn good. I was really expecting it to taste like a rib or maybe a pork loin, but it's a little bit of a different flavor. This is fantastic. That barky point on the outside edges is so delicious. I gotta tell you, if you guys have never tried my SPG, give it a shot. I'm gonna try a little piece with my homemade barbecue sauce. This is my sweet and spicy version sauce, just to see what it tastes like with a little bit of barbecue sauce. Here we go. That is money. All right, so I'm extremely pleased with this pork brisket cook. It cooked really fast, 3 hours, and it has such an amazing flavor. I gotta tell you, if you guys have never smoked a pork brisket before, check out Porter Road in the links below and get yourself a discount. I also want to say that I'm extremely pleased with the performance of that Z-Grills pellet smoker. It gave a really nice bark to this pork brisket, and I had no temperature swings whatsoever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is your first time here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya. All right, guys, so we have Bob and Diana that are gonna try my pork brisket, but I mainly want them to try the homemade sauces that I made. So if you guys would try there you go, try that pork brisket by itself and tell me what you think. So you guys have had beef brisket before, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That doesn't even need anything.
Oh.
No?
Wow.
Okay.
It doesn't need anything.
No? Like the flavor?
It's very tasty.
You do not need any of these sauces.
All right. I'm mainly interested in is if you guys like the sauces. And if you,
all of them.
They're all good.
yeah.
This one seems like it would taste good also with chicken. Like
Okay.
I picture this one with chicken.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Try this.
Oh, man. Man,
I'm big on the sweet. Yeah.
I like the sweet. I like. They're all good sauces. I mean, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong even eating them without the sauce.
Yeah.
I think this one's my favorite.
This has got a little bit of kick
But
to
they're
it.
all very good.
So the base is the same on all of them.
Wow.
The sweet and tangy has some maple syrup in it, so it's got a little bit of, and it's Canadian maple syrup, so thank you Canadian Jim for sending me that. And then the third one is the same thing as the first one, the sweet and tangy, but that one's got some heat to it. So which one did you like, Diana?
I like, this one's actually my favorite.
Really?
So
Because at first it has a nice,
Sweet.
like a sweet taste to it, and then
Yeah.
the kick comes later. But they're all very good.
Very
they're
nice.
all good. I would go with these two over this one. Not that this is bad, but
Yeah.
just flavor-wise, I think these two and then the kick right there. I love it.
So the sweet and spicy and the Texas.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
All right.
sure.
Well, thank you guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
Boom, boom, there's a knock at the door, but don't freeze in your